Hi. That's smaller so we can see. Hello, welcome in. I'm just about to get started. Just gonna try to find a little music for us. Okay. Oh, right, we don't want to use that. I know, Des. I know. Des is very happy. She gets lap time with Mama. That's her favorite thing. Okay. Yeah. Find. Uh, hmm. Okay. Found something. We'll see if we like it. It's pretty cozy. Hmm. Well, I can't tell if my mic is picking up the music at all. Can let's see. Oh, I don't know who's all in here. Okay. Now I'm gonna need to adjust this so everyone can see Des. Everyone's gonna want to see the cat. So, let's see what we can do here. Okay. Hmm, that's too bad. So we'll try to scoot this back. Let's scoot that down just a bit. Okay, that'll work fine. That'll work fine for this. Okay, welcome in. I'm gonna angle this more so y'all can see the cat. There we go. All right, this is gonna be a very cozy stream. Yeah, hi Des. Yeah, you're the star of the show. Yeah, I'm so happy. All right, and I did tell everyone to get cozy. So I've got myself some tea here so that we can just sip and relax. All right, let me pull up my other chat window too, just so that I'm ready. Hello, I see Lighted Hero. You say you're an IRL friend. I don't know who you are yet, but I'll probably figure it out at some point. Yeah. Um, yeah, I guess for my streams, I'd prefer that people refer to me as Sweetie, but my I don't think my first name is a secret. I think I've ended up saying it like numerous times in various ways across my platform at some point, so I probably can't hide it even if I wanted to. All right. So we're just gonna pick up where I left off the last time I did a an Edgar Allan Poe stream. And so we are starting off with The Sleeper tonight. Anyone who's listening in, I'd really appreciate some feedback if you can let me know if we can hear the music that I've put on in the background, or if you just can't hear it at all. I'd like to know. All right, so we're starting with The Sleeper. Apparently, this was first published with the title Irene in Poems, 1831. And then it was revised and published in Southern Literary Messenger in May of 1836. It appeared as The Sleeper in Philadelphia's Saturday Chronicle on May 22nd, 1841, after several revisions, and this version was printed in the Broadway Journal on May 3rd, 18. The Sleeper. At midnight in the month of June, I stand beneath the mystic moon. An opiate vapor, dewy, dim, exhales from out her golden rim, and softly dripping, drop by drop, upon the quiet mountain top, steals drowsily and musically into the universal valley. The rosemary nods upon the grave, the lily lolls upon the wave, wrapping the fog about its breast, the ruin moulders into rest, looking like Lethe sea the lake, a conscious slumber seems to take, and would not for the world awake. All beauty sleeps, and lo, where lies her casement open to the skies, Irene with her destinies. O lady bright, can it be right, this window open to the night? The wanton airs from the tree top laughingly through the lattice drop. The bodiless airs, a wizard root, flit through thy chamber in and out, and wave the curtain canopy so fitfully, so fearfully, above the closed and fringed lid, 'neath which thy slumbering soul lies hid, that o'er the floor and down the wall, like ghosts the shadows rise and fall. O lady dear, hast thou no fear? Why and what art thou dreaming here? Sure thou art come o'er far off seas, a wonder to these garden trees. Strange is thy pallor, strange thy dress, strange above all thy length of tress, all in all this solemn silentness. The lady sleeps, oh may her sleep, which is enduring, so be deep. Heaven have her in its sacred keep. This chamber changed for one more holy, this bed for one more melancholy. I pray to God that she may lie forever with unopened eye, while the dim sheeted ghosts go by. My love, she sleeps, oh may her sleep, as it is lasting, so be deep. Soft may the worms about her creep, or in the forest dim and old, for her may some tall vault unfold, some vault that oft hath flung its black and winged panels fluttering back, triumphant o'er the crested palls of her grand family funerals, some sepulchre remote alone, against whose portal she hath thrown, in childhood, many an idle stone, some tomb from out whose sounding door she ne'er shall force an echo more. Thrilling to think, poor child of sin, it was the dead who groaned within. I like that one. That was cute. Oh, yes. Remind me later, Google Chrome. Stop pestering me with your nonsense. Okay, lighted hero, give me a hint as to who you are. Hello, I'm seeing so many interesting usernames join. I hope you guys stick around for a little bit. And I don't know if y'all can hear the music. Please tell me if you can. I'm actually going to turn it down a little bit because it sounds really loud to me, and I don't want to feel like I'm screaming over it. So, turning it down just a touch. And I'm going to get myself a little sip of tea here. Y'all like my cute little cute little mug here. My partner got this for me, and it's so funny because almost every time that they come over, um, if we get coffee, they grab this mug, and it's like, you got it for me, and they won't even let me use it. But I do have a small collection of just like cute or funny mugs, and I would love to get a bunch more. Trying to work with my sorry if I keep readjusting. I look fine in the TikTok camera, but in my camera for Twitch and YouTube, I had to angle it down a little bit so that y'all can see the cat, but it is kind of chopping the top part of my head off. So we're just gonna give it a little adjustment again. And let's go ahead and get on to our next one. This one is to Helen. Helen, thy beauty is to me like those Nicean barks of yore that gently o'er a perfumed sea the weary wayworn wanderer bore to his own native shore. On desperate seas long wont to roam, thy hyacinth hair, thy classic face, thy naiad airs have brought me home to the glory that was Greece and the grandeur that was Rome. Low in yon brilliant window niche, how statue-like I see thee stand, the agate lamp within thy hand. Ah, Psyche, from the regions which are Holy Land. That's cute. That was just like a really short, sweet little love poem. If there are any Helens out there tonight, that one was for you. The City in the Sea. Low Death has reared himself a throne in a strange city lying alone, far down within the dim west, where the good and the bad and the worst and the best have gone to their eternal rest. Their shrines and palaces and towers, time-eaten towers that tremble not, resemble nothing that is ours. Around, by lifting winds forgot, resignedly beneath the sky, the melancholy waters lie. No rays from the holy heaven come down on the long night time of that town, but light from out the lurid sea streams up the turrets silently, gleams up the pinnacles far and free, up domes, up spires, up kingly halls, up fanes, up Babylon-like walls, up shadowy long-forgotten bowers of sculptured ivory and stone flowers, up many and many a marvelous shrine whose wreathed friezes intertwine the viol, the violet, and the vine. Resignedly beneath the sky the melancholy waters lie, so blend the turrets and shadows there that all seem pendulous in air, while from a proud tower in the town death looks gigantically down. Their open fanes and gaping graves yawn level with the luminous waves, but not the riches there that lie in each idol's diamond eye, not the gaily jeweled dead tempt the waters from their bed, for no ripples purl, alas, along that wilderness of glass. No swellings tell that winds may be upon some far-off happier sea. No heavings hint that winds have been on seas less hideously serene. But lo, a stir is in the air, the wave, there is a movement there, as if the towers had thrown aside, in slightly sinking, the dull tide, as if their tops had feebly given a void within the filmy heaven. The waves have now a redder glow, the hours are breathing faint and low, and when, amid no earthly moans, down that towns shall settle hence, hell rising from a thousand thrones shall do it reverence. It's pretty. Let me see, what's the history on this one? I'm just curious. Okay, so this is from 1831, so another one of the earlier works. But yeah, so if you're looking for some Gothic landscaping inspiration, uh, this poem will do it. You want some cliffs, some very sharp, jagged cliffs along the ocean, I guess. All right, let's move on to another short one. The Valley of Unrest. Once it smiled a silent dell, where the people did not dwell. They had gone unto the wars, trusting to the mild-eyed stars, nightly from their azure towers, to keep watch above the flowers, in the midst of which all day the red sunlight lazily lay. Now each visitor shall confess the sad valley's restlessness. Nothing there is motionless, nothing save the airs that brood over the magic solitude. Ah, by no wind are stirred those trees that palpitate like the chill seas around the misty Hebrides. Ah, by no wind those clouds are driven that rustle through the unquiet heaven uneasily from morn till even over the violets there that lie in myriad types of the human eye, over the lilies there that wave and weep above a nameless grave. They wave from out their fragrant tops, eternal dews come down in drops. They weep from off their delicate stems, perennial tears descend in gems. Oh my god, this guy is so good. Are you kidding me? Like I'm having to just look over it a little bit myself and just take all this in because wow. Yeah, God, that imagery. I really love like just this last little chunk here where it says uneasily from morn till even over the violets there that lie in myriad types of the human eye, over the lilies there that wave and weep above a nameless grave. They wave from out their fragrant tops, eternal dews come down in drops. They weep from off their delicate stems, perennial tears descend in gems. God, that's just beautiful. That is just beautiful. I love that. All right, I'm gonna have me a little sip of tea again. Taking a little break. All right, here's a very short one. This one's called Hymn. At morn, at noon, at twilight dim, Maria, thou hast heard my hymn. In joy and woe, in good and ill, Mother of God, be with me still. When the hours flew brightly by, and not a cloud obscured the sky, my soul, lest it should not be, thy grace did guide to thine indeed. Now when storms of fate o'ercast darkly my present and my past, let my future radiant shine with sweet hopes of thee and thine. All right, so some Marias out there are getting attention too. We had the Helens first, now we've got our Marias. I'm I actually wonder because I don't know all of the history behind the poem and the small descriptions that they give prior to each doesn't give much information. It just kind of says when they were first published and if there were any name changes, things like that. But I don't know, like these love poems. I don't know if these were about actual people, um, or if, you know, he was just writing and just needed a name. It's just like, I just want to write a love book today. We'll give it to Maria today, you know? Yeah, Des, are you so sleepy? Oh, poor sleepy baby. Poor sleepy baby. Oh, she purring. She's a happy kid. Mm, so happy. Mm. Squeezing your little hand. You're so, yeah. Rule number one, we must pet the cat. We must. She has to get her nubbins. Okay, now she's biting me. Alright, she's had enough. She says we can move on now. Now, let me see. Is this multiple pages? Okay. This is another fairly short one. This is Bridal Ballad. The ring is on my hand, and the wreath is on my brow. Satins and jewels grand are all at my command, and I am happy now. And my lord he loves me well, but when first he breathed his vow, I felt my bosom swell, for the words rang as a knell, and the voice seemed his who fell in the battle down the dell, and who is happy now. But he spoke to reassure me, and he kissed my pallid brow, while a reverie came o'er me, and to the churchyard bore me, and I sighed to him before me, thinking him dead, delorme. Oh, I am happy now. And thus the words were spoken, and this the plighted vow. And though my faith be broken, and though my heart be broken, behold the golden token that proves me happy now. Would God I could awaken, for I dream I know not how, and my soul is sorely shaken, lest an evil step be taken, lest the dead who is forsaken may not be happy now. So I'm actually a little bit confused. Okay, so let me go back because she said something about falling down in battle, and I wasn't sure if that was meant literally or if that was meant. Let's see. But when he breathed his first vow, I felt my bosom swell, for the words rang as a knell, and the voice seemed his who fell. Hmm. So I wonder what he meant by that. That, like, saying that his voice seemed to be the same of somebody dying in battle. I'm sure I'm misreading that. I'm misunderstanding that. Hmm. Or maybe she's afraid of him dying in battle. Maybe that's what this means. I don't know. That's why it'd be nice if more folks would chime in so we could have a discussion. I really do want to discuss these poems. I think something that I'd like to do with this later is I would like to get actual people involved, like physically be here with me for these streams so that it is an actual goth book club and so we're all discussing it and everything. Um, but of course, I'm also open to people in the comments, um, you know, chiming in if they have any thoughts. Okay, let's see. Okay, here's another short one. This is Sonnet Silence. There are some qualities, some incorporate things, that have a double life which thus is made, a type of that twin entity which springs from matter and light, evinced in solid and shade. There is a twofold silence, sea and shore, body and soul, one dwells in lonely places, newly with grass o'ergrown, some solemn graces, some human memories and tearful lore render him terrorless, his name's no more. He is the corporate silence, dread him not, no power hath he of evil in himself, but should some urgent fate, untimely lot, bring thee to meet his shadow, nameless elf, that haunteth the lone regions where hath trod no foot of man, commend thyself to God. Ah, here we go. We are at the famous The Raven poem, finally at long last. Now, this one is a longer one for sure. This is a few pages long, and most of his pages are, maybe take up 2 pages, or even just a small section of 1 page. But here we go. It says it's one of the most prominent poems ever written. It was first published with Poe's name in the January 29th, 1845 issue of the Evening Mirror. An instant success, it brought Poe considerable national fame. All right, so here we go, folks. The Raven. Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, "tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more." Ah, distinctly I remember, it was in the bleak December, and each separate dying ember wrought its ghost upon the floor. Eagerly I wished the morrow, vainly I had sought to borrow from my books surcease of sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore, nameless here for evermore. And the silken, sad, uncertain rustling of each purple curtain thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before, so that now, to the still the beating of my heart, I stood repeating, "'Tis some visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door, some late visitor entreating entrance at my chamber door. This it is, and nothing more." Presently my soul grew stronger, hesitating then no longer. "Sir," said I, "or madam, truly, your forgiveness I implore. But the fact is I was napping, and so gently you came rapping, and so faintly you came tapping, tapping at my chamber door, that scarce was sure I heard you. Here I opened wide the door, darkness there, and nothing more." Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. But the silence was unbroken, and the stillness gave no token, and the only word there spoken was the whispered word, "Lenore." This I whispered, and an echo murmured back the word Lenore. Merely this, and nothing more. Back into the chamber turning, all my soul within me burning, soon I heard again a tapping, somewhat louder than before. "Surely," said I, "surely that is something at my window lattice. Let me see, then, what thereat is, and this mystery explore. Let my heart be still a moment, and this mystery explore. 'Tis the wind, and nothing more." Open here I flung the shutter when, with many a flirt and flutter, in there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Not the least obeisance made he, not an instant stopped or stayed he, but with mien of lord or lady, perched above my chamber door, perched upon a bust of Pallas, just above my chamber door, perched and sat, and nothing more. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore, Though thy crest be shorn and shaven, thou, I said, art sure no craven, ghastly grim and ancient raven, wandering from the nightly shore. Tell me what thy lordly name is on the night's Plutonian shore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Much I marvelled this ungainly fowl to hear discourse so plainly, though its answer little meaning, little relevancy bore. For we cannot help agreeing that no living human being ever yet was blessed with seeing bird above his chamber door, bird or beast upon the sculptured bust above his chamber door, with such name as Nevermore. But the raven, sitting lonely on the placid bust, spoke only that one word, as if his soul in that one word he did outpour. Nothing farther then he uttered, not a feather then he fluttered, till I scarcely more than muttered, other friends have flown before. On the morrow he will leave me, as my hopes have flown before. Then the bird said nevermore. Startled at the stillness broken by replies so aptly spoken, doubtless, said I, what it utters is its only stock and store, caught from some unhappy master, whom unmerciful disaster followed fast and followed faster, till his songs one burden bore, till the dirges of his hope melancholy burden bore, of never, nevermore. But the raven, still beguiling all my sad soul into smiling, straight I wheeled a cushioned seat in front of bird and bust and door. Then upon the velvet sinking, I betook myself to linking fancy unto fancy, thinking what this ominous bird of yore, what this grim, ungainly, ghastly, gaunt, and ominous bird of yore meant in croaking nevermore. This I sat engaged in guessing, but no syllable expressing to the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. This and more I sat divining, with my head at ease reclining on the cushion's velvet lining that the lamplight floated o'er, but whose velvet violet lining with the lamplight floating o'er she shall press, ah, nevermore. Then, methought, the air grew denser, perfumed from an unseen censer, swung by angels whose faint footfalls tinkled on the tufted floor. Wretch, I cried, thy God hath lent thee, by these angels he hath sent thee, respite, and nepenthe from thy memories of Lenore. Quaff this kind nepenthe, and forget this lost Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore, desolate, yet all undaunted, on this desert land enchanted, on this home by horror haunted, tell me truly, I implore, is there balm in Gilead? Tell me, I implore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil, prophet still, if bird or devil, by that heaven that bends above us, by that God we both adore, tell this soul with sorrow laden, if within the distant Aidenn it shall clasp a sainted maiden, whom the angels name Lenore, clasp a rare and radiant maiden, whom the angels name Lenore. Quoth the raven, nevermore. Be that word our sign of parting, bird or fiend, I shrieked upstarting, get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Leave no black plume as a token of that lie that thy soul hath spoken. Leave my lonely nest unbroken, quit the bust above my door. Take thy beak from out mine heart, and take thy form from off my door. Quoth the raven, nevermore. And the raven, never flitting, still is sitting, on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating as a floor shall be lifted nevermore. Wow, that's a lot to process. This is my first time reading through this whole. I'm sure there is a lot to look into in terms of the symbolism behind this poem and like the full explanation of every verse. But I can see why people found this poem incredibly charming. It has an interesting and somewhat unique cadence to it, which I started picking up towards the end, but it was a little bit hard at first. It's a poem that I would actually need to practice reading aloud. But yeah, definitely an interesting way to convey that you miss the love of your life. That's for sure. All right. I'm gonna have me another sip of tea before I move on because that was a lot of reading once. I know Dez's position isn't the best. Yeah, yeah. People aren't gonna be able to see you on the laptop cam. And then what? Then what do we do? If the people can't see you, they're just gonna think I'm talking to my lap, and that's strange. Yeah. She's just opening her little mouth trying to bite me. My God. My God. Such a little twat. Alright, carrying on, I suppose. Eulalie, a song. I dwelt alone in a world of moan, and my soul was a stagnant tide, till the fair and gentle Eulalie became my blushing bride, till the yellow-haired young Eulalie became my smiling bride. Ah, less bright, the stars of the night, than the eyes of the radiant girl, and never a flake that the vapor can make with the moon tints of purple and pearl can vie with the modest Eulalie's most unregarded curl, can compare with the bright-eyed Eulalie's most humble and careless curl. Now doubt, now pain, come never again, for her soul gives me sigh for sigh, while all day long shines bright and strong, Astarte within the sky. And ever to her dear Eulalie upturns her matron eye, and ever to her young Eulalie upturns her violet eye. That's just like a cute little one. Cute little romance poem. Cute, cute, cute. So cute. All right, moving on. Let me check. I want to see. Okay, okay. This one's. I guess it has like an extra introduction added to it. So let me just read through that first. This is a Valentine. This was first published as "To Her Whose Name is Written Below" in the Evening Mirror on February 21st, 1846. An acrostic taking the first letter of the first line, the second letter of the second line, and so on. We get the name Francis Sargent Osgood, to whom the poem is dedicated. It was revised and published in the Sartans Union magazine and the Flag of our Union in March 1849 with the title of Valentine. And then here's this extra intro paragraph that's given. It says, at a Valentine soiree in New York, the following enigmatical lines were received, among others, and read aloud to the company. The verses were enclosed in an envelope addressed to her whose name is written within. As no lady present could so read the riddle as to find her name written in it, the Valentine remained, and still remains unclaimed. Can any of the readers of the Flag discover for whom it is intended? All right, so here we go. A Valentine. For her these lines are penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Leda, shall find her own sweet name that nestling lies upon the page and wrapped. Oh, oh no, we're not doing that. Sorry, folks. Let me start over. Something popped up on my screen. I thought it was the thing that TikTok does to make sure I'm still here. A Valentine. For her these lines are penned, whose luminous eyes, brightly expressive as the twins of Leda, shall find her own sweet name that nestling lies upon the page enwrapped from every reader. Search narrowly this rhyme, which holds a treasure divine, a talisman, an amulet that must be worn at heart. Search well the measure. The words, the letters themselves, do not forget the trivialest point, or you may lose your labor. And yet there is in this no Gordian knot, which one might not undo without a sabre, if one could merely understand the plot. And written upon this page whereon are peering such eager eyes, there lies, I say, Perdue, a well-known name, oft uttered in the hearing of poets by poets, as the name is a poet's too. Its letters, although natural lying, like the knight Pinto, Mendez Fernando, still form a synonym for truth. Cease trying. You will not read the riddle, though you do the best you can do. Okay, that was just weird. I'm not even gonna elaborate on that. That was just weird. Now this one looks like it's gonna be a little bit longer. Okay, it's not that long. So this, um, they include a fancy text for all of the titles, and it makes it a little bit difficult to read. So I'm trying to find what matches it. I think it says Ulalume, a ballad. I guess we will find out. So potentially, Ulalume, a ballad. The skies, they were ashen and sober. The leaves, they were crisped and serene. The leaves, they were withering and serene. It was night in the lonesome October of my most immemorial year. It was hard by the dim lake of Auber, in the misty mid-region of Weir. It was down by the dank tarn of Auber, in the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Here once, through an alley titanic, of cypress I roamed with my soul, of cypress with Psyche, my soul. These were days when my heart was volcanic, as the Syriac rivers that roll, as the lavas that restlessly roll their sulphurous currents down Yanek, in the ultimate climes of the pole, that groan as they roll down Mount Yanek, in the realms of the boreal pole. Our talk had been serious and sober, but our thoughts, they were palsied and sere. Our memories were treacherous and sere, for we knew not the month was October, and we marked not the night of the year. Ah, night of all nights in the year! We noted not the dim lake of Auber, though once we had journeyed down here. We remembered not the dank tarn of Auber, nor the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. And now, as the night was senescent, and star-dials pointed to morn, as the star-dials hinted of morn, at the end of our path a liquescent and nebulous lustre was born, out of which a miraculous crescent arose with a duplicate horn, Astarte's bediamonded crescent, distinct with its duplicate horn. And I said, she is warmer than Diane. She rolls through an ether of sighs. She revels in a region of sighs. She has seen that the tears are not dry on these cheeks where the worm never dies, and has come past the stars of the lion to point us the path to the skies, to the Lethean peace of the skies, come up in despite of the lion, to shine on us with her bright eyes, come up through the lair of the lion, with love in her luminous eyes. But Psyche, uplifting her finger, said, sadly the star I mistrust, her pallor I strangely mistrust. O hasten, O let us not linger, Oh, fly, let us fly, for we must. In terror she spoke, letting sink her wings till they trailed in the dust. In agony sobbed, letting sink her plumes till they trailed in the dust, till they sorrowfully trailed in the dust. I replied, "This is nothing but dreaming. Let us on by this tremulous light. Let us bathe in this crystalline light. Its Cybelic splendor is beaming with hope and in beauty tonight. See, it flickers up the sky through the night. Ah, we safely may trust to its gleaming, and be sure it will lead us aright. We safely may trust to a gleaming that cannot but guide us aright, since it flickers up to heaven through the night." Thus I pacified Psyche and kissed her, and tempted her out of her gloom, and conquered her scruples and gloom, and we passed to the end of the vista, and were stopped by the door of a tomb, by the door of a legended tomb. And I said, "What is written, sweet sister, on the door of this legended tomb?" She replied, "Ulalume, Ulalume, 'tis the vault of thy lost Ulalume." Then my heart it grew ashen and sober, as the leaves that were crisped and sere, as the leaves that were withering and sere, and I cried it was surely October, on this very night of last year, that I journeyed down here, that I brought a dread burden down here, on this night of all nights in the year. Oh, what demon has tempted me here? Well I know now this dim lake of Auber, this misty mid-region of Weir. Well I know now this dank tarn of Auber, in the ghoul-haunted woodland of Weir. Said we then, the two that, ah, can it have been that the woodlandish ghouls, the pitiful, the merciful ghouls, to bar up our way and to ban it from the secret that lies in these wolves, from the thing that lies hidden in these wolves, have drawn up the spectre of a planet from the limbo of lunary souls, this sinfully scintillant planet from the hell of the planetary souls. Thank God that one's over. I didn't like this. I didn't like that at all. Boo! They can't all be quitters. They just can't be. Okay, here's a shorter one. I'm gonna take a sip of tea, just kind of lubricate my throat a little bit, because it does get dry from reading. Hello, Allie. I see you there. You gonna give me 1,000 likes again? Alright. A dream within a dream. Take this kiss upon the brow, and in parting from you now, thus much let me avow, you are not wrong who deem that my days have been a dream. Yet if hope has flown away, in a night or in a day, in a vision or in none, is it therefore the less gone? All that we see or seem is but a dream within a dream. I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep. While I weep, O God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? O God, can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream? I don't know what he was tripping on when he wrote that one. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Hopeless, depressed, seeing their life as futile as a grain of sand. I can relate, honestly. I get it. I get it. Okay. This one's really short. It's called El Dorado. It says it's one of Poe's last poems, and it was partly a reaction to the California Gold Rush. and it first appeared in The Flag of Our Union on April 21st, 1849. El Dorado. Gaily bedight, a gallant knight, in sunshine and in shadow, had journeyed long, singing a song in search of El Dorado. But he grew old, this knight so bold, and o'er his heart a shadow fell as he found no spot of ground that looked like El Dorado. And as his strength failed him at length, he met a pilgrim shadow. Shadow, said he, where can it be, this land of El Dorado? Over the mountains of the moon, down the valley of the shadow. Ride, boldly ride, the shade replied, if you seek El Dorado. I kind of wish that he had expanded more on that. I wish that he'd gone a little further with the story. It's cute. All right, let me see how long this one is, because we've only got 8 minutes left. Okay, this one's slightly longer. Um, I'm going to actually switch to my sparkling water. There we go. That feels better. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so this one was definitely written for a specific person, but apparently not. It's not a romantic one. It says this was written for Mrs. Nancy Richmond, with whom Poe shared a platonic relationship. This is another one from 1849. For Annie. Thank heaven, the crisis, the danger is past, and the lingering illness is over at last, and the fever called living is conquered at last. Sadly, I know I am shorn of my strength, and no muscle I move as I lie at full length, but no matter I feel I am better at length. And I rest so composedly now in my bed that any beholder might fancy me dead, might start at beholding me, thinking me dead. The moaning and groaning, the sighing and sobbing, are quieted now, with that horrible throbbing at heart, all that horrible, horrible throbbing. The sickness, the nausea, the pitiless pain, have ceased with the fever that maddened my brain, with the fever called living that burned my brain. And oh, of all tortures, that torture the worst has abated the terrible torture of thirst. For the naphthaline river of passion accursed, I have drank of a water that quenches all thirst. Of a water that flows with a lullaby sound, from a spring but a very few feet underground, from a cavern not very far down underground. And ah, let it never be foolishly said that my room it is gloomy and narrow my bed, for man never slept in a different bed, and to sleep you must slumber in just such a bed. My tantalized spirit here blandly reposes, forgetting or never regretting its roses, its old agitations of myrtles and roses. For now, while so quietly lying it fancies a holier odor, about it of pansies, a rosemary odor, commingled with pansies, with rue and the beautiful Puritan pansies. And so it lies happily, bathing in many a dream of the truth and the beauty of Annie, drowned in a bath of the tresses of Annie. She tenderly kissed me, she fondly caressed, and then I fell gently to sleep on her breast, deeply to sleep from the heaven of her breast. When the light was extinguished, she covered me warm, and she prayed to the angels to keep me from harm, to the Queen of the angels to shield me from harm. And I lie so composedly now in my bed, knowing her love, that you fancy me dead. And I rest so contentedly now in my bed, with her love at my breast, that you fancy me dead, that you shudder to look at me, thinking me dead. But my heart it is brighter than all of the many stars in the sky, for it sparkles with Annie. It glows with the light of the love of my Annie, with the thought of the light of the eyes of my Annie. Hmm. All right. So interesting. He wrote it for a platonic friend, and I don't know. Is Annie a like is that like a nickname for somebody named Nancy? Because it says this is for Nancy Richmond. No, that's confusing to me. Why would you write a romantic poem for somebody that you're platonic with? But all right. Well, I've only got 3 minutes left, so I just want to see if I can find like a short one to end on. This one, okay, this one looks short. This should be perfect. All right, so this one is titled Annabel Lee, and the introductory description says this: concerning the themes of love, envy, and the death of a beautiful woman, which Poe considered the most poetical topic in the world, this was his last complete. It was first published as part of Griswold's obituary of Poe in New York Daily Tribune on October 9th, 1849, and this is the original version. Annabel Lee. It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden lived there whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee. And this maiden she lived with no other thought than to love and be loved by me. She was a child, and I was a child, in this kingdom by the sea. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee, with a love that the winged seraphs of heaven coveted her and me. And this was the reason that long ago, in this kingdom by the sea, a wind blew out of a cloud by night, chilling my Annabel Lee, so that her high-born kinsman came and bore her away from me, to shut her up in a sepulchre in this kingdom by the sea. The angels not half so happy in heaven, when envying her and me. Yes, that was the reason, as all men know, in this kingdom by the sea, that the wind came out of the cloud, chilling and killing my Annabel Lee. But our love, it was stronger by far than the love of those who were older than we, of many far wiser than we, and neither the angels in heaven above, nor the demons down under the sea, can ever dissever my soul from the soul of the beautiful Annabel Lee. For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams of the beautiful Annabel Lee, and the stars never rise but I see the bright eyes of the beautiful Annabel Lee. And so all the night tide I lie down by the side of my darling, my life and my bride, in her sepulchre there by the sea, in her tomb by the side of the sea. All right. And that's a very lovely, somber note to end on. So I'm going to go ahead and call it quits for the night. But this is the copy of the anthology that I've been reading from. So let me show it off real quick so you can see it. I did buy it because it was pretty, not gonna lie. All right, my child. Is it time to get ready for bed? Is it time? I think my little baby's ready for bed. I'd better get ready to join her. Good night, everyone.